Atletico Madrid lose to AC Milan. First of all, there's a great story here from AC Milan perspective. The scorer, Junior Messias, he went from Serie C 2 years ago, Gozano that was, all the way to Milan and scoring the winning goal against Atletico Madrid in the Champions League. A Brazilian, I believe, immigrating to Italy. Just an amazing storyline. But so there's much to talk about from that perspective. But JJ, Atletico Madrid have not won a game at the Wanda Metropolitano in the Champions League this season. It's just so disappointing from Diego Simeone's side.
Yeah, it is hugely disappointing. And, I remember we were doing the preview for this the other day, and, we were debating whether, Atleti would be able to get it done, whether they'd be able to scrape the draw. I think I predicted a draw for this one, but I wasn't completely down on AC Milan's chances. And so I'm happy for them that they can go into the final round of games and at least be able to, potentially fight for advancing. Because if you look at the way that is set up, it is really intriguing now for this final round of games, because anyone can go through, but anyone could also just drop out and just completely have their European adventure ended. Atleti now could pay the maximum penalty, for not making the most of that game and at least getting a draw, because they could end up, completely dropping out if they lose to Porto. But AC Milan, if they manage to beat Liverpool, who've won all of their games so far, you can't say that, suddenly they haven't merited, at least continuing into the Europa League. But you'd imagine that a win over Liverpool would probably see them, maybe even sneak into the knockout phase of the Champions League. It's really finely poised. But yeah, I was stunned really by Atleti, and it's not been a good season for them so far. They're having a tough time. Maybe Diego Simeone struggling to remotivate them after the success of last season.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So we have a call to action here, and as we do it, I want to include our friend Heath Pierce. HP is in the house. Heath, thank you so much for being here. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing all right. How are you guys doing?
We're good.
Yeah, good, thanks.
By the way, Jonathan Johnson, it's late in Paris for JJ. So anytime you feel like bowing out, we forgive you, JJ. It's been a long day for Jonathan Johnson, so that's fine. Now that I have my West Coast reinforcements, I don't want to keep him too long. But before he goes, I have a call to action for everybody watching and listening as well. You can send a tweet if you hear this later on. But which team do you think, guys, is following Liverpool out of Group B? It's very, very tight. Of course, AC Milan play Liverpool in the final day, and Porto face Atleti. Porto is leading by a point. Anything can happen in the final day. So I would love for everybody to just give me that comment. Maybe just give me the team. Just write down the team. Is it Porto, Milan, Atleti? Could be.
You know what? I'm feeling mischievous. I'm going to say that Milan win against Liverpool, a big night at the San Siro, and I'm going to say that Porto Atleti is a draw.
I like it. How about you, Heath?
Oh, wow. I mean, I like the Milan narrative. I think for me, the interesting thing about that is we saw Inter Milan last year drop out of this, and that be the thing that they went on their run. We're seeing Napoli right now also in Europa League losing that, again, managing a schedule with not being the deepest of rosters. We've seen AC Milan get tested already this season in terms of rotation at the front line and strikers available for the team. But yeah, I think this is one where I'd love to see AC Milan really step back up. They haven't been known for being successful in Europe in recent years, or even domestically. So this would be a huge sign for them to be able to get a win, as JJ mentioned, and get through to the knockout rounds.
Absolutely. I mean, to JJ's point, I mean, Milan beating Liverpool, it's not that insane, given the fact that Liverpool can really just focus so much on everything else, including the league, especially since they already are in the knockout stages. But are you having a bad hair day, Heath Pierce, or is that just
just because I wear a hat? No one says it to you, Luis. When you wear a hat, no one asks you that. You know what I mean?
Well, I have a little less hair than you, Heath Pierce, but my headphones went off. But are you having a bad hair day? Let me pick up my headphones so you keep going.
I just didn't do my hair. If that's considered having a bad hair day, then yes, I guess I am having a bad hair day. So yeah, sometimes it's just easier to throw on a hat leave my little neck beard and just look a little unkempt heading into this Thanksgiving weekend.
Yeah, you know what? It's so mean. How about you say, Heath, hey, nice hat. How about that? We begin with that because you don't know. It could be a very good hair day, but you just want a nice hat. Anyway, Group B, match day 6 is going to be awesome, says Kellen. I agree. Mauricio, AC Milan go through. They were unlucky in the first few matches. They'll play a weak Liverpool in the final game. I think I agree with you. JJ, you agree, right? Because you said a victory for AC Milan. Yep.
Yeah, I'm feeling it. I know from speaking to Simon Kjaer how important it is to Milan, and I think they'll look at the chances that they've had so far in this group stage that have been kicking themselves about 1 or 2 results. This has really given them the shot in the arm that they need, and I think that they'll do it against Liverpool. But I think that Liverpool will rotate as well, which obviously won't go down that well with Simeone because he was already griping before the game about how he didn't expect Liverpool to really go at it and do them any favors. Oops.
Yeah, I mean, it's and one of the things I was talking about with or thinking about before I was jumping on with you guys is sort of the positioning as you guys were talking about with Simeone and what that means for a year like this. At what point, and he's one of the few managers we've seen stick around for a long time and be part of a project that's had some incredible successes. But at what point reaches your exhaustion point? And we see this coaching carousel happening everywhere else. Is there not another attractive place for him to challenge himself to do it again? Obviously, we're in the midst of some chaos in La Liga, so there is opportunities that the opportunities might look greater for domestically for Atletico Madrid than usual. But I start to look at this and go, man, this system, how long would it last? Where could his style of play fit elsewhere? And when I'm looking
at Manchester United and
I'm thinking about when I'm thinking about PSG, I know you would look at him and say, hey, he's a Serie A manager, but that management, when we saw that shift go to Mourinho at Chelsea, it can really disrupt other leagues and have a huge impact if you can get a buy-in. So I just wonder, at what point is there an exhaustion point? I don't know if you guys have a take on that, or when you think, how many more years can you do this for as a system that is rewarded only in results? It's not rewarded in the style of play or the way that we see attractive football anymore, and it's just something different.
Yeah, I mean, I totally take your points, and I think at this stage, kind of Simeone is like an institution with Atletico Madrid, and I think if there's going to be a change, it will have to be on his terms. He'll have to feel like, right, guys, I've taken us as far as we can go. I can't do anything more,
and somebody else is in place as well.
What more can you do there? I mean, in terms of you bring back some.
It's to JJ's point, though. Like, true, it's how far can you take? But it would be down to Simeone, I think.
I think it just. I mean, to be honest, yeah, I completely agree. I think we're sort of we're seeing that ceiling be reached now. I don't think we're going to be seeing an Atletico Madrid going all the way to the Champions League final that we saw years ago. I think those days are gone. And I think with all due respect, and it was a fantastic achievement. Winning the occasional La Liga title is probably the best that Atletico are going to... But it's as good as it can get, is what I'm trying to say already. And I think now it's really just up to Simeone. It depends on whether Simeone really feels like he wants another challenge. Whether, I don't know, maybe he wants to branch out into international management. Maybe he sees an opportunity to open up somewhere. Maybe he just wants a break after, however many consecutive seasons it is that he's done now.
Steve Bruce to Atletico Madrid.
That's crazier things have happened.
Hey, listen, Peter Schmeichel wants Steve Bruce at Manchester United. Why don't we
just insert Steve Bruce? That should be like the like example. When you have the credit card commercials and it says
Cabbage
like
even exist in Madrid.